In the first fight, we have Carli Judice versus Nicole Caliari. Carli Judice is 26 years old, 4-2, 3-2 in her last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 3 months ago. Carli Judice lands 3.45 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.22, she's a 67% finish rate, and is a -250 favorite. Nicole Caliari is 28 years old, 8-3, 4-1 in her last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 5 months ago. Caliari lands 3.78 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.56. She has a 73% finish rate and is a +210 underdog. Can Judice ride the hometown crowd to victory, or can Caliari spoil the party? Judice is fighting in her backyard, bringing crisp striking and solid grappling. Caliari is a scrappler with heavy hands and a knack for finishes. Judice has an edge in technical striking, and she will enjoy a sizable reach advantage. Caliari's aggression, I think, will make this a dogfight. If Judice uses her footwork, she'll be in control. And like I said, Judice will enjoy a 6-inch reach advantage. I think that'll just make things a bit too tough for Caliari. I like Caliari, but I think she's a bit undersized in this matchup. So give me Carli Judice to edge out a close one. What's up, everybody? Crossover MMA back in here for another video. Breaking down UFC 318, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier 3, going down July 19th, 2025 in the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. It's the BMF title fight, Dustin Poirier's retirement bout, and some absolute bangers. Now let's get back into it. In the next fight, we have Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Phillips is 30 years old, 12-3, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 8 months ago. Phillips lands 5.28 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.47, is a 47% finish rate, and is a -170 favorite. Vinicius Oliveira is 29 years old, 22-3, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision win 5 months ago. Oliveira lands 4.92 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 2.77, is a 72% finish rate, and is a +145 underdog. Can Phillips' speed and versatility outshine Oliveira's knockout power? Phillips is a dynamo with slick striking and wrestling, always looking to push the pace. Oliveira's got one-punch KO power, but does leave some defensive gaps. If Phillips mixes in the takedowns, he'll keep Oliveira guessing. Oliveira needs one big shot early to just completely turn the tide of the fight. I do like Oliveira's pressure as well. So for that, I'm going to take an underdog of Vinicius Oliveira to get it done with his volume and his cardio. In the next fight, we have Jimmy Crute versus Marcine Prachnio. Jimmy Crute's 29 years old, 12-4-2, 0-3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a draw 5 months ago. Crute lands 4.37 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.63, is a 50% finish rate, and is a -240 favorite. Marcine Prachnio is 36 years old, 17-8, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a submission loss 11 months ago. Prachnio lands 5.57 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.24, is a 48% finish rate, and is a +195 underdog. Will Crute's grappling grind down Prachnio, or can the striker just manage to keep it striking and get it done? Crute's a beast on the mat, hunting for submissions. Prachnio is a kickboxer with decent power but shaky takedown defense. If Crute gets this to the ground, it's his world. Prachnio needs to keep this standing and land clean shots at all costs. I think at some point, Jimmy Crute will get this fight to the ground, so give me Jimmy Crute to get back in the win column here. In the next fight, we have Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVey. Ferreira's 32 years old, 13-2, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a submission win 4 months ago. Ferreira lands 3.54 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.54, is an 87% finish rate, and is a -250 favorite. Jackson McVey is 26 years old, 6-0, coming off a TKO win 3 weeks ago. McVey lands 3.54 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.12, he has a 100% finish rate, and is a +200 underdog. Can Ferreira's knockout power steamroll McVey, or will the newcomer pull off the upset? Ferreira's just an absolute wrecking ball, stepping in for Ikram Aliskerov with devastating KO power. McVey is a scrappy prospect, making his UFC debut with solid wrestling, but untested against elite finishers. Ferreira's going to hunt the knockout, while McVey needs to slow the pace of this fight down and look to get some takedowns. I'm going to go with Bruno Ferreira by highlight reel KO. This guy just looks to finish the fight all the time. In the next fight, we have Adam Fugitt versus Islam Dulatov. Adam Fugitt's 36 years old, 10-4, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 1 year ago. Fugitt lands 3.89 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.12, has a 57% finish rate, and is a +410 underdog. Islam Dulatov is 26 years old, 11-1, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 9 months ago. Dulatov lands 14.27 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.49, is a 92% finish rate, and is a minus 550 favorite. Can Fugitt's grit outlast Dulatov's explosive power, or will the young gun just dominate? Fugitt's a tough vet with decent striking and grappling, but he's faced really tough competition lately. Dulatov's the rising star, coming off of Dana White's Contender Series with heavy hands and solid wrestling, looking to make a statement. Fugitt needs to weather the early storm and drag this into a grind, but Dulatov's power and youth give him the edge in my opinion. So I'm going with Islam Dulatov to get the win in his UFC debut. In the next fight, we have Francisco Prado versus Nicolay Veretennikov. Francisco Prado is 23 years old, 12-3, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 5 months ago. Prado lands 4.38 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.32, is an 80% finish rate, and is a minus 135 favorite. Nicolay is 35 years old, 12-6, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 4 months ago. Nicolay lands 2.73 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.54, is a 56% finish rate, and is a plus 114 underdog. Will Prado's youth and power overwhelm Nicolay, or can the vet hang tough and just take it into deep waters and get the fight? Prado's a young gun with heavy hands, relentless pressure. Nicolay is the crispy vet with crisp boxing and decent grappling. Prado is going to come out swinging, looking for a finish, but Nicolay's durability could make it close. If Prado lands clean, it's lights out for me. So with that, I'm going to go with Francisco Prado to win in a firefight. In the next fight, we have Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. Ryan Spann is 33 years old, 22-11, 1-4 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 3 months ago. Spann lands 3.2 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.21, is a 58% finish rate, and is a minus 218 favorite. Lucas Brzeski is 33 years old, 9-6-1, 1-4 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 7 months ago. Brzeski lands 5.02 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.68, is a 44% finish rate, and is a plus 180 underdog. Can Spann bounce back in his second heavyweight bout, or will Brzeski keep his UFC dream alive? Spann's a light heavyweight veteran moving up to heavyweight with slick submissions, but a rough 2-3 run right now, including a TKO loss to Waldo Cortez Acosta. He's a gritty heavyweight with 1 win in the UFC, but struggles against power, getting KO'd by Kennedy and Zellhuber recently. Spann's athleticism and guillotine give him the edge in my opinion, while Brzeski needs to grind this fight out. I'm going to go with Ryan Spann to get it done here. In the next fight, we have Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. Kevin Holland's 32 years old, 28-13, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a submission win 3 months ago. Holland lands 4.24 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.11, is a 56% finish rate, and is a minus 395 favorite. Daniel Rodriguez is 38 years old, 19-5, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 7 months ago. D-Rod lands 7.39 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.39, is a 54% finish rate, and is a plus 310 underdog. Can Holland's wild style and BJJ overpower D-Rod, or will D-Rod turn it into an absolute brawl? Holland's riding high after choking out Vicente Luque and showing he's a problem at 170 pounds with his length and his grappling. Rodriguez is a gritty striker who loves to trade but can get caught in chaotic fights. Holland's 5-inch reach advantage and sneaky submission give him the edge in my opinion, but D-Rod's volume could make it spicy. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland and mix it up and get the job done. In the next fight, we have Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. Michael Johnson is 39 years old, 24-19, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 6 months ago. Michael Johnson lands 4.23 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.8, and has a 28% finish rate. Daniel Zellhuber is 26 years old, 15-2, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 9 months ago. Zellhuber lands 6.26 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 6.02, and has a 59% finish rate. Will Johnson's experience outlast Zellhuber's precision, or is the young gun just going to be too much? Johnson's a vet with fast hands, but his chin's been tested lately. Zellhuber's a sniper and will enjoy a 6-inch reach advantage and his own serious momentum outside of his last fight. Johnson needs to make it a dogfight, while Zellhuber will pick him apart at range, in my opinion. I just think the youth and the reach advantage of Daniel Zellhuber would just be too much. So give me Daniel Zellhuber to outstrike Michael Johnson for the win. In the next fight, we have Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Dan Ige's 33 years old, 19-9, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 2 months ago. Ige lands 3.67 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.55, is a 43% finish rate. Patricio Pitbull is 38 years old, 36-8, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 2 months ago. Pitbull lands 2.84 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.12, and he has a 55% finish rate. Can Ige's UFC grit overpower Pitbull's Bellator pedigree? Ige is a pressure fighter with solid wrestling, heavy hands, fresh off a TKO win. Pitbull's a legend with slick striking and BJJ, but he's in deep waters in the UFC. Ige will push a relentless pace while Pitbull needs to counter sharp. I'm going to go with Dan Ige just to grind out this win, and I think Dan Ige's got a little bit of momentum going now. In the next fight, we have Ateba Gaultier versus Robert Valentine. Ateba Gaultier is 23 years old, 7-1, 4-0 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 3 months ago. Gaultier lands 6.06 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 2.23, he has a 75% finish rate. Valentine is 30 years old, 11-5, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 3 months ago. Valentine lands 3.78 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.45, and has a 63% finish rate. Will Gaultier's power overwhelm Valentine, or can the underdog make it competitive? Gaultier is a finisher with heavy hands looking to climb the ranks very fast. Valentine's scrappy with decent grappling, but struggles against elite strikers. Gaultier is gonna be looking for that KO. While Valentine needs takedowns to survive, I just think Ateba Gaultier's power and his athleticism is just gonna be too much here. So give me Ateba Gaultier to land that big shot and get the finish. In the next fight, we have Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Marvin Vettori is 31 years old, 19-8-1, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 3 months ago. Vettori lands 4.54 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.37, he has a 39% finish rate and is a plus 225 underdog. Brendan Allen is 29 years old, 24-7, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 4 months ago. Brendan Allen lands 3.55 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 3.67, he has a 61% finish rate and is a minus 278 favorite. Will Allen's grappling shut down Vettori, or can the Italian pull the upset? Vettori is just a grinder with solid boxing and really tough, but he struggles against top grapplers. Allen's a submission machine, underrated striking, and riding a little bit of a hot streak. Vettori needs to keep this fight standing, but Allen's gonna hunt those takedowns and is pretty decent in the clinch. I think Brendan Allen has the more diverse skill set, so give me Brendan Allen in a close fight. In the co-main event, we have Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. Paulo Costa is 34 years old, 14-4, 1-4 in his last 5 fights, coming off a decision loss 1 year ago. Paulo Costa lands 6.22 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 6.56, is a 67% finish rate, and is a minus 175 favorite. Roman Kopylov, 34 years old, 14-3, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO win 5 months ago. Kopylov lands 4.96 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 5.86, is a 71% finish rate, and is a plus 145 underdog. Can Costa rediscover his knockout magic, or will Kopylov's momentum steal it? Costa's a powerhouse with devastating strikes, but his consistency's been very shaky. Kopylov's on a tear with crisp kickboxing and sneaky power. Costa's gonna push forward, but in my opinion, Kopylov's a more technical striker, and I think that definitely will keep it close. For me, Paulo Costa, just hasn't looked the same since the Israel Adesanya fight. The only win he's had since then is against Luke Rockhold. He has no wins over anybody still in the UFC. And Roman Kopylov, the guy's just been improving and has some really good striking, has power, really fast kicks. And I just think it's going to be a bit too much. So I'm going with Roman Kopylov to get it done in a striker's delight. Before we get into the main event, make sure to like, subscribe for more content. In the main event, we have Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the BMF title. Max Holloway is 33 years old, 26-8, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, coming off a TKO loss 8 months ago. Holloway lands 7.16 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.76, he has a 41% finish rate, and is a minus 120 favorite. Dustin Poirier is 36 years old, 30-9, 2-3 in his last 5 fights, coming off a submission loss 1 year ago. Poirier lands 5.3 significant strikes per minute, absorbs 4.33, is a 59% finish rate and is a plus 100 underdog. Can Holloway's volume outlast Poirier in the trilogy, or will the diamond go out with a bang? The trilogy is straight fire. Poirier's 2-0 against Holloway, but Max does have that insane KO over Justin Gaethje to claim the BMF title. Holloway's volume and durability are next level, but Poirier's power and combinations are deadly, especially with him being in his hometown for his retirement fight. Max will push a crazy pace while Poirier hunts for a finish. It's a coin flip fight, and how will Max Holloway mentality be coming off such a devastating finish versus Ilia Topuria? And what will Dustin Poirier's emotions be in his retirement fight in his backyard in New Orleans, Louisiana? It's a tough fight, and we do have the history of showing Dustin Poirier beat Max Holloway twice. So for me, I think history has a tendency of repeating itself. Give me Dustin Poirier to win the trilogy, edge it out in an all-out war, and just go out on top. Before we bounce, smash the subscribe button for more breakdowns like this. Drop your picks in the comments. Agree with me or disagree with me. Let me hear your questions, comments, thoughts, and your feedback are always welcome. And as always, until next time.